Have you ever wondered what actually makes our digital world, well, digital? I mean, from streaming a movie to paying for coffee with your phone, it all comes down to something incredibly simple: a single switch. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on that magic. We'll start with that one tiny switch and build all the way up to a fully digital society. So let's get into it. All right, here's the plan. We'll kick things off with the absolute bedrock, the world of zeros and ones. Then we'll see how those tiny signals build up to become the internet we use every day. After that, we'll look at a huge real-world application, how this tech is building modern governments. We'll even explore some powerful tools you might already be using. And finally, we'll tackle the super important challenge of keeping it all safe. So let's start at the very beginning. Every single video you watch, every text you send, it all boils down to one incredibly simple concept. We throw the word digital around all the time, right? But what are we actually talking about? Turns out, the answer is surprisingly straightforward, and it is the key to understanding everything else. Think about it like this. Analog is smooth and continuous, like a wave or the sound of your voice. Digital, on the other hand, takes that smooth wave and chops it up into a bunch of separate, blocky steps. Instead of an infinite, smooth curve, you get a limited set of values. That's the whole trick, breaking reality down into little, countable pieces. And those tiny, countable pieces, we call them bits. A bit is the absolute smallest piece of information. The easiest way to think of it is just like a light switch. It can be off, that's a 0, or it can be on, that's a 1. That's it. Every photo, every song, every website you've ever seen is just a massive, massive collection of billions of these little switches, all flipped on or off in a very specific pattern. Okay, so we've got billions of tiny switches. Cool, but how in the world do we get them to talk to each other across the entire globe? Well, that's the next piece of the puzzle. You know, all communication follows this super basic pattern. There's a sender who sends a message through some kind of channel to a receiver. Your computer does the exact same thing. It acts as the sender, turns your message into a long string of ones and zeros, shoots it through a channel like Wi-Fi, and then another computer on the other end receives and decodes those bits back into the message. And what happens when you connect millions and millions of these computer networks together? Bam! You get the internet. Now, it's really important to get this. The internet is not one single thing. It's a network of networks. This huge global web where all the connected devices have agreed to speak the same digital language, using rules we call protocols, so they can share all those ones and zeros. Okay, here's a really common point of confusion we need to clear up. The internet is the physical stuff, all the wires, the fiber optic cables, the servers. Think of it like the entire global system of roads and highways. The World Wide Web, on the other hand, is the stuff that travels on those roads. The websites, the pages, the videos. It's the destinations you actually visit using that road system. Let's just stick with that road trip analogy for one more quick mix-up. Your web browser, so Chrome, Safari, Firefox, that's your car. It's the vehicle you use to drive around on the internet's roads. A search engine, like Google, is more like the GPS or the map you use inside your car to find a specific address or destination on the web. Simple difference, but a really important one. So, we have the basic building blocks down. Now, let's get to the really interesting part. How is this tech being used to completely change something as huge and complicated as an entire government? It's a field called e-governance. And the core idea is really simple. Use all this digital technology to make government work better for people. We're talking about delivering services more efficiently, giving citizens easier access to information, and at the end of the day, making government more accountable to the people it serves. And the goals of e-governance can be summed up really nicely by this acronym, SMART. We want it to be simple, so people can actually use it. Moral, to improve efficiency and cut down on corruption. Accountable, so there's a clear digital trail. Responsive, so things happen faster. And finally, transparent, so information is open and available to everyone. So that's the theory, but what does this actually look like in practice, especially at a massive scale? Well, for an incredible example, let's take a look at India, which has built an entire digital toolkit for more than 1 billion citizens. India's digital public infrastructure really rests on a few key pillars. It all starts with Aadhaar for a digital identity. Then you have things like DigiLocker for documents, UPI for payments, and even MyGov for citizen engagement. Let's just quickly break down a couple of these. Aadhaar is the foundation of the whole system. It's a unique digital ID for every resident.
tied to their biometrics that lets them prove they are who they say they are, instantly and securely. It's like a universal digital key that unlocks access to tons of services.
Then you have something like DigiLocker, which is a perfect example of what people call paperless governance. Basically, it's your own personal, secure cloud storage for official documents. Think driver's license, diplomas, you name it. They're all issued digitally, they're legally valid, and you can access them right from your phone. No more digging through file cabinets.
And then there's UPI, which has been an absolute game changer for payments in India. It's a system that lets you link all your different bank accounts into a single app on your phone. It makes sending and receiving money instant and just as easy as sending a text message. It's incredible.
And if you want to understand the sheer scale of this, get this. By October of 2021, the UPI system was already processing over $100 billion in transactions every single month. That kind of massive adoption just shows how quickly a really powerful digital tool can become totally essential to daily life.
But, and this is a really big but, when you build a society that runs on ones and zeros, you create a brand new and absolutely massive challenge. When our identity, our money, and our most important documents are all digital, the big question becomes, how do we protect it all? And that brings us to cybersecurity. This is the constant, never-ending, essential battle to defend our entire digital world. Everything from your personal laptop all the way up to national power grids from being attacked, damaged, or misused. And the threats out there are everywhere. You've got malware, that's malicious software like viruses that infect your devices. There are phishing attacks, which are those sneaky emails trying to trick you into giving up your passwords. Denial of service attacks flood a website with so much traffic that it just crashes. And men-in-the-middle attacks are when someone secretly intercepts your communications to steal your data. So what can we do? Well, two of the most common defenses are antivirus software and firewalls, and they do different jobs. Think of it this way. A firewall is like the bouncer at the front door of your computer, checking all the traffic trying to get in and stopping threats before they enter. Antivirus software is like the security team inside the building, constantly patrolling and looking for any threats that might have snuck past the bouncer. So there you have it. From one single on-off switch, we've built an incredible, globally connected digital society. The journey is pretty amazing. But it leaves us with this final critical challenge. As our worlds get smarter and more interconnected every single day, the real question we have to ask ourselves is this: how do we get smarter about protecting it?